Hey guys, welcome back to another video on the Inside Spurs channel. Happy Friday. Hope you're enjoying the sun right now. Whatever it is you're doing, you're working, you're due to finish work soon, you're off to the pub, whatever you're doing, I hope you're enjoying it. And yeah, we've got a game day tomorrow. Ange Ball is back and we've got plenty to talk about ahead of the Sheffield United game. You know, I rewatched the games they played in the Premier League and definitely a few takeaways that I thought we could be using to our advantage, that's for sure. We'll talk a little bit about injury news, what I expect is the team that are going to be going ahead to start this weekend. Some interesting sort of stats, figures, takeaways from those games. And also, just to first and foremost say, Ange Postecoglou, James Maddison, both Manager of the Month and Player of the Month for August, which is, for your first month at the club, for both those guys, is absolutely incredible. And it is definitely great to see. Let's just hope that Ange goes the way we hope it goes and not the way it goes of our last manager to win his Manager of the Month in his first month, e.g. Nuno. Let's talk Sheffield United. Big game this weekend for us. We're coming into a really difficult run of fixtures where we could do with going in with form. We talk of games against Arsenal, games against Liverpool, away games in London, but also games against Chelsea as well. Playing some big games and leading in for the next sort of 6 to 8 weeks, we've got a lot of difficult fixtures that we need to be hitting our stride on. So we're talking about Sheffield United, some facts and figures and things like that. So Sheffield United, to give you an idea, are sitting one place above the relegation zone in 17th, having drawn one game and lost the other three. Scoring 4, so 4-4, and conceding 7. So scoring 1 a game, but conceding basically 2 a game. I'm not really going to worry about the league position all that much, but you kind of have an idea as to maybe how they've started. I'm not going to say they've started poorly or greatly, but they have started indifferently. So to give you an idea, they played their first game of the season actually at home to Crystal Palace and did not play well. Facts on that, they did not play well. You're talking about a Palace team who had 68% possession, 24 shots to 8 on target. You know, Sheffield United at home having 8 shots, 1 on target, 32% possession. The fact that this was 11 on 11, it wasn't even like someone went down to 10 men. It's not a great start, but you know what? First game of season, it can go one of two ways and go the way of like this game where you're nervous, you struggle to get out of the gates. And Crystal Palace have been in the Premier League for a long time with some very exciting players in their team. But it'll also go away where you're super excited, you've got nothing to lose, you're just really up for the game. And that's why whenever Spurs' fixtures come out, I don't ever really want to play a newly promoted side just because they are way up for it. Second game of the season they played was away to Nottingham Forest, which they lost 2-1 in a last-minute winner, basically. Nottingham Forest has 16 shots, 4 on target, 49% possession, to Sheffield United 7 shots, 3 on target, 51% possession. So they were a little bit more in the game, but again, didn't create a lot of opportunities. And between 2 games having 4 shots on target, not the best. I can't lie, not the best. Then they played the champions at home and lost 2-1 to Man City. I mean, Man City, it was one of those typical Man City pelterings. They had 80% possession. They sat on Sheffield United's 18-yard box. They had 30 shots, 9 on target to Sheffield United's 6 shots and 2 on target. So very much a typical Man City performance against a team lower down in the league. And then the last game they played was at home to Everton. This was a bit of a barnstormer. I was on my way up a little bit north on the train to see a friend, and I was watching the game a little bit, and it was quite funny. The woman coming past me on the train with the trolley, it's like Harry Potter, saying she sort of leant over me and I didn't see her. I was like, oh, you know, she was like, oh, sorry, I just want to watch the game. I was just trying to catch the score. I'm obviously because I'm working. I was like, yeah, no, it's all good. So, I mean, ditch the trolley and pull up a chair if you want to watch it. I don't mind, you know. Grab us a beer if you want as well. Never a problem with that. But this was a bit of a good game, actually. I did watch it and I quite enjoyed it, to be honest. But they drew 2-2. Pickford had a bit of a big one that game. The second goal obviously rebounded off like the bar and hit him on the back and went in. Can't stop them. But he also made a double save right at the end of the game to secure a point for Everton. It was quite even, to be honest. Sheffield United 13 shots, 8 on target, 45% possession. Everton 16 shots, 6 on target, 55% possession. So when you're looking at it, other than the first game of the season against Palace, where you could say maybe there was nerves, and obviously City, they've at least been in the game having some form of possession. I did have takeaways from each of these games. I made notes and everything. And, one thing I've noticed is I've tried to sort of compare it to what you would expect from Spurs. So in the Palace game, I noted down that set pieces, they aren't the best at defending them. Definitely you could see there was a counter-attacking team style that game. There was suspect from crosses, and that is a common feature through a lot of these games. A lot of the goals they conceded are from crosses, especially just flashing it across the box. And it can be a thing that sometimes just mentally they're not always switched on. And also Eberechi Eze was definitely picking up a lot of spaces where you find 18 yards from the goal, 20 yards from the goal, sitting on sort of the left-hand side of the 18-yard box where you might find James Maddison. So something to watch out for this weekend. I think you might see Maddison getting in a lot of space. You fast forward into the Forest game, they conceded actually 2 goals from corners, both from Sergio Aurier, by the way. So former Spurs man getting 2 assists that game. They did score an absolute beauty, Sheffield United, with Hamer had sort of 18 yards out, whipped it into the top corner. It was beautiful, absolutely lovely goal. And the other thing I noticed was they had big physical strikers that try and lay off the ball quite a lot. So that's something to be wary of for you, Mickey van der Vens, your Romeros, but also your Basumas, to kind of not allow that to really happen as much as they want it to happen. With City, when I looked at it, Sheffield United was scatty at the back. City probably should have scored a few, to be honest. One touch on the edge of the box was really something they struggled to deal with when it came to City. Crosses again were an area of weakness. The Maddison area that we find in the left centre mid area was very well exploited by Kovacic, and Haaland's goal came from a cross towards a dink towards the back post and power header into the goal. And then Rodri's goal came from Kyle Walker winning the ball, running down the byline and just pulling it back. And that's something that's quite common. It's always on the right-hand side, which I've kind of noticed. Always on the right-hand side, cross comes in, goal. Now, I don't know if that's the left-back not getting out to stop the cross, or if that's the right-back or right centre-back maybe not switching on to defend the cross. But that was, again, another situation. And then with Everton, they scored from Everton scored from a corner. I did notice that Norwood, if you give him space, can pick a pass. So I guess that might be something to try and eliminate, is their deep-lying playmaker. Layoffs were a big part of their success, and that was evidence in the first goal. And if you didn't see their first goal, it was a great bit of build-up play, crossed into the striker who lays it off. And then, it was a lovely little finish from about 18 yards out. Their attacks are very strong down the right flank. I've noticed in a few different games, they are definitely better attacking down the right-hand side than they are the left. Tracking runs was a big weakness. And I noticed a few other games that tracking runs sometimes allowed an opportunity here or there. And they conceded again from another cross. So you can kind of see there's a key feature of they concede a lot from crosses. I think, when we look at the Spurs team, we do try and put balls into the box with your Sons, your Maddisons, your Kulusevskis and things like that. So definitely something I think we should be paying attention to. In terms of team news for Sheffield United, they're missing up to 8 players this weekend. So missing quite a few players, which starts with Daniel Jebison, who's apparently ill, Max Lowe, Reece Norrington-Davies, John Fleck. There's question marks over Anel Ahmed Hodzic. Wow, what a name. Ryan Brewster, John Egan, to name a few. And also Ben Osborne. Looking at the Spurs situation with injuries and things like that, Spurs sitting there with your long-term normal injuries. Rodrigo Bentancur, who did take part in his first training session, not a full one, but took part in the first part of it. They still expect him back for November. Brian Hill, obviously out injured at the moment, with Ryan Sessegnon, Alfie Whiteman. Lo Celso is touch and go supposedly for the weekend. And Alejo Veliz did train in his first training session. So you might get a little bit of a bench warmer for Veliz for the first game. And do you know what? Stick him on with 5-10 minutes. Just see him little run around, see what his link-up play maybe is like. You never know. In terms of Spurs, obviously we know we're sitting second in the league right now, 10 points, scoring a lot of goals. Winning 3 away games and obviously beating Man United, our only home game. This is another home game, another opportunity for Ange to be in front of the fans. And I do expect a big win, to be honest. I think, a 3 or a 4-1, something like that. I do really see that being the case. I think in terms of an expected team, I'd say Vicario in goal, Pedro Porro at right back, Romero, Mickey van der Ven and Destiny Udogie at the back. Same back five, really, and I really like that. And I like that we're trying to build that in a little bit more now as well. Try and give that stability at the back, that we're building up chemistry with the five of them. And you can tell Vicario, Romero and Van der Ven are really starting to build that chemistry, you know, always fist pumping each other, always getting in each other's faces in a good way, just hyping each other up a lot more. In terms of the midfield three is midfield three. Basuma, Sarr, Maddison. I don't think that will be a shock to all of you, and I don't think any of you are going to come out and go, oh, I'm expecting to see Skip, I'm expecting to see Højbjerg. Okay, if you do, please keep it to yourself. We need to be attacking, not defending. In terms of the front three, I do think you'll see Kulusevski out right. I do think you'll see Son and Richarlison. The reason why Richarlison, I think, is to try and give him a little bit of confidence, which I don't think would go unharmed right now. If not, then, you know, maybe you keep Man or Solomon. And actually, if you do, then obviously Richie will be on the bench, Solomon out on the left, Sonny through the striker position. The more I think about it, I think they will go Solomon and Son, purely because I think we'll have to play against a team that is going to sit back a little bit and welcome us onto them a little bit. And I think we need to play having, you know, quick one touch around the box, you know, tricky wingers, tricky strikers, always making movements, always pulling defenders here, there and everywhere. And I think that would suit Son, Kulu and Solomon. So actually I've changed my mind. I'm going Solomon left wing and Son up front and Richie dropped to the bench. Who I'm most excited to see in this game, other than you normals, I hope to see a little bit of Brennan Johnson, actually. I think he adds a massive dynamic that we don't have in the attacking areas, at least. You know, raw pace, runs at defenders, you know, doesn't cut in. He wants to run around the outside. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing a little bit of Brennan Johnson. Hopefully some Valise if he is on the bench. Richie as well. Hopefully you can get him going a little bit. And this is the thing, you know, you may not be a big Richie fan, you may not be a big Brennan Johnson fan, but you know what? If they play well, they build some confidence, we're going into a really difficult run of fixtures, we need everyone firing on all cylinders, because you know what? It wouldn't surprise me if Richarlison does something against Arsenal or Liverpool and gets a lot of you back on side. I'm always on his side, but to get a few more of you at least. But anyway, guys, that's the end of the video. I hope you did enjoy it. Drop a like on the video if you did. Hit me in the comment section below about your prediction for the game, what you're hoping to see, what you're expecting to see, who you're most excited to see as well. I always want to see kind of what the gist is with a few of you. Subscribe to the channel if you are new, hit the bell notification for more. But anyway, guys, that's the end of the video, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Take care, guys.